Hello and welcome to Module 10.2, Multiplying Polynomials by Monomials. Our objective for today is exactly what the title says. I can multiply polynomials by monomials. What are we doing here? Our first example is literally that, and it is pretty straightforward. We are using the distributive property. That's all we're doing here, nothing fancy. So 5n times 3n, we multiply numbers, then letters. Numbers, numbers, letters, letters. So 5 times 3 is 15. N times n cubed is n to the fourth. You will be using your exponent rules from Module 7 on this one. 7? 8. Whatever module it was. All right. Next up, we have 5n times negative n squared. So 5 times negative 1 is minus 5. N times n squared is n cubed. And lastly, we're distributing 5n times 8. 5 times 8 is 40n. And that's all we need to do. It's already in standard form because it started off in standard form for us. All right, let's look at letter B. We're going to distribute negative 3x squared to 4x squared. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. X squared times x squared is x to the fourth. Next up, negative 3x squared times negative 2x. So negative 3 times negative 2. Negative times negative is positive, and it'll be 6. X squared times x is x cubed. And then our last one is negative 3x squared times 3, and that's going to be minus 9x squared. You'll notice each time I'm drawing the arc, and I'm showing the distribution from each term in our monomial, or in our polynomial, so that I am making sure I'm not making a mistake. I'm not missing something, because that is something I've seen you guys doing already this year, is you are not distributing all the way to that third term with distributive property, or the second term, so make sure drawing the arc helps us physically identify what we are doing. All right, so we have negative 2x times y squared. So we've got negative 2xy squared. Negative 2 times negative 4 is plus 8xy. And negative 2 times 3 is minus 6, and we just have an x there. And again, we're in standard form already. All right, D, E, and F are your you try problems here. Pause the video, go try those, check your work against mine. All right, letter D. We have x squared times 3x cubed. So let's just remember there's a 1 in front of that x squared. So we've got 1 times 3, that's 3x to the fifth, minus 2x to the fourth, plus 8x squared. Letter E, we have z cubed. Again, our coefficient is 1, so we have z cubed times 4z cubed, and that gives us 4z to the sixth, minus 3, and then z cubed times z to the second is z to the fifth, and then we have minus 2z to the fourth. Our last one here, m to the fourth times n to the fourth, that's m4 n4, plus 2m4 n squared, minus 4m to the fourth. Okay. And we're good there. Nothing else for us to do. Everything's already in standard form. So example 2 here, we are simplifying expressions, and really all this means is that we are going to be doing this more than once and then combining like terms. So letter A, we have 3n times 6n cubed, so we get 18n to the fourth minus 12n squared. I'm going to do it in a separate color. Negative 2 times 9n to the fourth is minus 18n to the fourth. And then negative 2 times negative 11 is plus 22. Like terms, 18n to the fourth minus 18n to the fourth, you get negative 12n squared plus 22. Negative 18n to the fourth and 18n to the fourth are additive inverses. They add together to be 0. They go away. All right. Letter B. We start off with our distributions. So we get 10n to the fifth plus 12n squared minus 5n squared. So we have minus 15n to the fifth. And then we multiply negative 5n times 3n squared, and that's going to be minus 15n cubed. Combine like terms, we have 2 to the fifth terms, so 10n to the fifth minus 15n to the fifth minus 5n to the fifth, and then we've got minus 15n cubed plus 12n squared. If you did not put that into standard form, you would be losing half a point for not putting it in standard form. The expectation is the degrees of the monomials will decrease as we go across. All right, 2 you try problems. Try them. Check your work against mine. Go. All right, letter C, 4x times x, 4x squared. 4x times 5 plus 20x. Okay. And then we have negative 3x times negative 2x, so that's plus 6x squared. And then negative 3x times 4 is minus 12x. Combine like terms, we have a 4x squared and a 6x squared. That's 10x squared. We have a 20x minus 12x. That's going to be plus 8x. Letter D, distributive property first. We have minus 6x squared plus 18x. We have 4x squared times x squared, so that's plus 4x to the fourth. And then we've got plus 20x to the third when we distribute to the 5x. Combine our like terms. We have, first off, our highest term is the 4x to the fourth. And then we have plus 20x cubed. Then we have minus 6x squared. And then we have plus 18x. And that's our final form there. All right, go ahead and flip your page. We're going to go to our first example here. We are going to write and evaluate a polynomial expression. So, the world's largest basket is a building that is in Newark, Ohio. Each face of the building is the shape of a trapezoid, with the largest face having a height of h, and the two base lengths are h plus 90 and 2h plus 84. Write and simplify an expression to represent the area of one side of the building. The area of a trapezoid, if you don't remember, is A is equal to 1/2 times h times the quantity A plus B. All right, so let's see what we've got here. So first of all, that's our A and B right there, our h plus 90 and 2h plus 84. Our height is just h, and we need to just substitute this all in. So area is equal to 1/2 times h times, and we've got h plus 90 plus B is 2h plus 84. Now, we could do one of two ways on this. We could distribute right away and then combine like terms, or we can combine like terms inside the parentheses and then distribute. I'm going to combine like terms first. So we've got a equals 1/2 h, and inside the parentheses, h plus 2h is 3h, and plus 90 plus 84 is going to be plus 174. Now I'm going to distribute to both of my terms. And so a is going to be equal to, we've got 3/2 h squared, and 174 times 1/2 is going to be 87h. And we have a picture of the building right here. And it does, in fact, look like a giant wicker basket. So there you go. Newark, Ohio, if you're ever in the area. All right, so we've got Jeannie, and Jeannie is designing a shed, and she wants the building to be in the shape of a rectangular solid, right, with the same width and length. So that seems like it's pretty important, same width and length, and a height that is 2 feet shorter than the width. Write and solve an expression or an equation to show volume in terms of W. Okay. Volume of a rectangular solid. Length times width times height. Now, we are told that we're doing it in terms of W, and our width and length are the same. So the length is width, the width is width, and the height is 2 feet shorter than the width. So W minus 2. So we multiply on the outside first. We get W squared times W minus 2. And then when we distribute, our volume is going to be W cubed minus 2W squared. All right, example 4 is solving equations with polynomial expressions. This is going back to Module 2, Module 1, where we are going to be using distributive property and then we are solving. So the keys to remember here, we've got our wall at the equal sign. We cannot move from one side to the other without doing the same thing on both sides. So on the left here, negative 16p is just going to chill for right now because we need to distribute all of this stuff on the right. And so we're going to get 2p plus 6. And then we're going to get plus 18p and minus 90. And now let's combine like terms on the right. 2p plus 18p is going to be 20p, but it should have been negative 2p. So that would actually be an 18, eraser. We're going to have a 16p, and then we have plus 6 minus 90. That's minus, and again, oh man, I made mistakes left and right here on my distribution. So it's a minus 6 because it was negative 2 times p and negative 2 times 3. So negative 90 and negative 6 is going to combine to give me negative 96. Always check your work, folks. So we go ahead and we subtract 16p from both sides. Right, we're getting our variables to one side, our constants to the other. 16 minus 16 is negative 32p, and that's going to be equal to negative 96, which we need to just divide by negative 32. And our p-value, negative 96 divided by negative 32, is a positive 3. All right. Letter B. Letter B. So we have negative q that's going to distribute all over the place. So we're going to get negative 2q to the 4th minus 3q equals, we're going to do some distribution on the right side here. So 2q times negative 2q cubed, say that 10 times fast. So that's negative 2q to the fourth. And then we've got 2q times 3, which is plus 6q. And then we've got 9 times q, which is 9q. And 9 times negative 4, which is negative 36. Now, left side, nothing happens yet. Right side, we need to do some cleaning up of this. So we have negative 2q to the fourth. 6q plus 9q is plus 15q, and then minus 36. Okay, so we're going to add 2q to the fourth to both sides, right? We're going to try to move it to the other side. Which side we're trying to move it to, it doesn't matter, because those terms cancel out. And I'm left with negative 3q equals 15q minus 36. Subtract 15q from both sides, and we get negative 18q equals negative 36. And then we divide by negative 18. And then q is going to be equal to 2. All right. Your last two problems of the day, go ahead and try the two you try problems. If you have, then come back and check your work against mine. Letter C, super simple, super straightforward. We multiply negative 5 by p and by 8. We get 3p is equal to negative 5p minus 40. And there's our wall down the middle. Again, we need to make sure we are adding 5p to both sides. And we get 8p is equal to negative 40. And then we go ahead and divide both sides by 8. And we get that p is going to be equal to negative 5. And letter D, the problem's so wide I had to reset all of the columns. All right, lots of distribution here. Let's just tackle it right away. Negative 2x times 4x is going to be negative 8x squared. Negative 2x times negative 9 is plus 18x. We have our equal sign and our dividing line. X times negative 8x is negative 8x squared. X times 15 is plus 15x. Negative 3 times negative 4 is plus 12x. Negative 3 times negative 6 is plus 18. We are going to combine like terms on the right side, but first the left side we're going to just rewrite. Negative 8x squared plus 18x equals, we have negative 8x squared, that's the only x squared term, 15x plus 12x is going to be plus 27x, and then we have plus 18 on the right still. Next step, add 8x to both sides, 8x squared. Let's say we're moving it to the right side, doesn't matter, they cancel out. We're left with 18x equals 27x plus 18. Subtract 27x. And we get 18 minus 27 is negative 9x equals 18. When you divide by negative 9, x is going to equal negative 2. So that is our notes for Module 10.2. If you have any questions, please bring them to class. Otherwise, have a great day.